ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
Swami, Adian has one question. Is it necessary for SrIvaishNavas to observe EkAdhaSi or Upavasam without having the food or having limited food?
EkAdhaSi is a proper Vaishnava Vratam. It is the only Vratam actually which SrIvaishnavas should observe. There is no other specific Vratam recommended for us other than, of course, Sri Jayanti, where we fast till midnight or evening or whichever, depending on the Dividesham and how we do the Sri Jayanti Puja at home or Tiruvardhanam at home. Other than that, there is no specific Vratams for Sri Vaishnavas. This EkAdhaSi is a very, very important Vratam, and we can see in many Divideshams, many mutts, on EkAdhaSi, there will be usually a lighter prasadam. For example, in Vanamamalai Matham, there is Nitya Tadyaradhanam. Every day in the Matham, there will be Tadyaradhanam in Vanamamalai Dividesham. But on EkAdhaSi, there is no Tadyaradhanam, because it is specifically mentioned that one should avoid eating as much as possible on EkAdhaSi. When Shastram clearly says that we should not do, then being Sri Vaishnavas, being Prapannas, we must be the ones who accept Shastram and follow it. So we cannot say that because I am a Sri Vaishnava, there is no EkAdhaSi for us, we cannot trouble our body like that and so on. Then Shastram has no value. If Sri Vaishnavas don't follow Shastram, then who will follow? So, of course, we have to practice EkAdhaSi Vratam properly. Now, there are exceptions for EkAdhaSi Vratam. Very old people or people with diseases or children, they can be given some prasadam. They can take some prasadam. Also, as part of temple Agama worship, there can be no fasting for Perumal. So for Perumal in temple, there will be some bogam, some taligai will be offered, some naivedyam will be offered. There may be the particular bogam may be specific to EkAdhaSi. Like in some places they break the rice and cook upma or pongal and so on. So there will be certain changes in the particular bogam which is offered to Perumal. But other than that, in temples there is no specific EkAdhaSi Vratam concept, because as per Agama for Perumal, some taligai has to be, some naivedyam has to be done. So that prasadam, if it is given in Goshti, if it is given along with all the other Bhagavatas, we can take a little bit and we can consume. It is not that we are violating our Vratam or anything like that. It is little bit prasadam we can take, but it is not that it is not compulsory for us to take also. Some people will think that we have to take. No, if we are following EkAdhaSi Vratam, it is okay. We can take that prasadam which is given to us and give it to somebody else who will eat that prasadam. That can also be done. Or if you want to take a little bit of prasadam, that because Perumal's prasadam which is come to us directly, we can take a little bit. But we have to practice EkAdhaSi Vratam. There are very clear indications in the Purvacharya Anushtanams in very established mutts that on EkAdhaSi there is no Tadyaradhanam. So Ekadashi Vratam must be followed as best as possible. If someone has diseases or someone is not able to, let's say someone is trying to do Ekadashi Vratam, but he is unable to do it. Every time he starts, maybe he is getting headache, maybe he is getting stomach pain. Then one need not really torture oneself to do this. One can try as much as possible. Maybe try taking some fruits, try taking some milk or something along that lines, and avoid grains, food grains, cooked food basically. But if one is unable to do it, if one is having serious difficulties, then they can take a little bit of alternate prasadam. And this Ekadashi practice, Vratam, also to do it properly, one has to start fasting from Dashami night itself, the previous night itself, and then continue the Vratam till Dwadashi Paranam, that is the breaking of fast to be done. So it has to be done fully. Again, this rule is there. We can try as best as possible. If we are unable to really do it, then we have to seek forgiveness from Perumal and have a little bit of prasadam to sustain ourselves. Still, one should realize that it is Ekadashi where one has to fast.
Swami, again has a follow-up question on this, Swami.
Okay.
Again, maintains complete fast except taking water, Swami. Is taking water considered as a complete fasting, or then that should not be taken?
Yeah, even water should not be taken ideally. Perumal Tirtham we can take in Sannidhi. We can take Perumal Tirtham or Tulasi Tirthurai. They are given, we can take. Again, it all depends on how one's body reacts. As much as possible, one can try to do without anything. But if one is not able to do it, maybe they can take water. If water is also not sufficient, maybe take a cup of milk. If that is also not sufficient, maybe one can take some fruits. Again, it all depends on how much the body can handle. And maybe the body will not handle suddenly one fine day, total fast. Maybe we have to go step by step. Slowly give up something. Ensure that you don't eat cooked food first to start with. And then you give up something else. And then you give us something else. In this manner, we can try to train the body. The body can be trained to a large extent. Because when we are in need of certain things, let's say a person who cannot remain without food even for a 2-hour period of time, if one has to keep eating something, but if the same person, let's say he goes to his favorite actor's movie, he sits there 3 hours without worrying about food. So body at that time is focused, mind and body are focused on something else. Similarly, that is why this other important thing is the purpose of Ekadashi is not fasting. Purpose of Ekadashi is to focus on Bhagavan. So if a person is able to fast but not able to focus on Bhagavan, then that purpose is getting defeated. So main purpose is to focus on Bhagavan fully. So for that, if one can take a little bit of food or water or milk, they can do it so that they can fulfill that particular purpose. So that is also something to be considered in Ekadashi. But again, because the important principle here is when SrIvaishnavas, we do Ekadashi Vratam, we do it as Kaikaryam. But when others do Ekadashi Vratam, they do it as Upayam. We don't do anything as Upayam. It is not that by doing Ekadashi, I am going to expect Perumal become pleased and give me something. I am doing it as Kaikaryam because Shastram says on Ekadashi you don't consume food. That is the only reason why I am not consuming food on EkAdhaSi. And spend that time also, spend that extra time also in Bhagavan. Let's say instead of spending 15 minutes eating, I can spend 15 more minutes remembering Bhagavan's Tirunamam, his Leelas, his Vaibhavams and so on. So that is the purpose. So that purpose has to be fulfilled. For that, a little bit of the reason why when we do it as Kaikariam, then the shortcomings are not observed as much by Bhagavan. If you do it as Upayam, then he is watching you closely. If you are doing a mistake, then he'll say, "Oh, you did it as Upayam and you did a mistake, so you have to redo it." But if it is Kaikariam, then you cannot say that. Oh, if it is Kaikariam, what will happen is Bhagavan will say, "Okay, you tried, very nice. Better luck next time. You improve it." Because there is no expectation from me. It is like doing some doing some service for free and doing some service for some money. If you do it for money, then expectation will be there. Because we also have expectation. But if we do it for service, then there is no expectation in us. Then they will also be very pleased. And even if you do a little bit of mistake here and there, they'll say, "Okay, anyway, you're doing it for free. So we won't complain that you did a small mistake." So similarly, when we go to Bhagavan and do it as Kaikariam, then you will not complain. At least you are trying this much without asking me anything in return. You are doing this Kaikariam, which is good. So that is how he will also look at it. Okay.
ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
To learn such valuable information about our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, please download KOYIL, KOYIL app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Our website is koyil.org, KOYIL.org.